Hi guys, welcome to this update video. I do hope you're doing fantastic this evening. So we will be speaking about this new disturbance. It's a pretty recent one. Now has a medium formation chance. It's a tropical wave that has just emerged from Africa. So as it is going to be propagating across the tropical Atlantic headed to the vicinity of the Caribbean, it will likely encounter some conducive environmental conditions and could be the next named system of the season. And on this graphic here, we see another spot. So this area has a very low chance of developing. It's an area of low pressure in the vicinity of the Bahamas. Not likely to develop as it has a low 10% chance of formation, but there could be some rain in and around the northern Bahamas and Florida. So let's go into the details. Okay, here we go. We're looking at the infrared weather satellite. We can see all this convection offshore Africa, some of which is in association with that newest tropical wave that we will be watching over the course of the next couple of days. And towards the vicinity of the Caribbean, Central America, and South America, we can see a lot of those white dots indicative of lightning strikes. So it's been a pretty active afternoon for many of us. And with that, we're going to be looking at the region a bit closer here. We can see what's been going on. So Jamaica, for many parishes, much of Cuba, parts of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, few spots in Puerto Rico and the Lesser Antilles, and especially towards Central America, there's a lot of moisture around. So there has been some substantial rainfall activity, maybe even some minor flooding in the more flood-prone areas. And then as we're going to be heading throughout the next day or so through to tomorrow afternoon here, we can see what yours expecting. So more color means more rain. So again, for the vicinity of the Bahamas, likely to be some periods of heavy rain with that low pressure area around. Likewise, Cuba could see some additional instances of some downpours in sections of Jamaica and Hispaniola. And then for the Cayman Islands, maybe some passing showers, some of which may be heavy with some thunderstorms. And things could be more active for Central America, going down to portions of Colombia and Venezuela. ABC Islands, we're not seeing any color at all, so it's likely to be pretty quiet there. Pretty sunny days are ahead. And then for the Guyanas, it may be a little bit active in a few spots with some passing showers. Likewise, for the Lesser Antilles, going to Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, and even up to the Turks and Caicos Islands and southernmost Bahamian Islands as well. So that's what is expected in terms of the rainfall forecast. Nothing too out of the norm for the time of year. And now going on to that disturbance in a little bit more detail. So it's not yet designated as an invest, but I believe that it actually will eventually. And we can see that it has a medium 50% chance. So imminent formation is not expected. But when it is in the central tropical Atlantic headed to the western tropical Atlantic, things will likely get a bit more conducive with those reduced or weaker upper level winds and a lot more moisture, less dust intrusions as well. So that's likely to aid in some formation. Eventually, we could see the system becoming the next named storm of the season. And the next name on the list is Jerry. So we'll see if this is future Jerry that we could be looking at offshore Africa. And the long-term track of the system is, of course, uncertain because it is so far out. But any impacts to the Eastern Caribbean will likely be late next week. So we have a lot of time to keep our eyes on it. And as I speak about that, let's look at some model data here. So we'll be looking at our two main models, GFS and Euro. So we can see these different squiggly lines. This may be a little bit confusing, but those green shadings indicate the moisture, and those black squiggly lines are called isobars, which represent areas of equal atmospheric pressure. So going out to Friday, October 10th, there we can see some of those isobars in a circular manner, which is when we have a system developing. In this case, we can see that it is approaching not a very solid system, maybe a tropical storm. And then GFS has it moving generally up to the northwest or west-northwest at that time, moving into the vicinity of the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico while strengthening. And then it shows another system offshore the southeastern states. And eventually it takes the system out to sea while it gains some more intensity, and we see a bit of a rain surge in parts of the central and west Caribbean. As for Euro, Euro is showing something a little bit similar. So as we head to Thursday the 9th, that's next Thursday, we have that system approaching, nothing very defined, mostly a rain surge approaching, and then eventually it has an area of low pressure forming and making its way up to the northwest, going to Monday of the following week, the 13th of October. And eventually it has a system moving out, but it shows a bit of a rain surge in the West Caribbean. So we're seeing that a bit consistent with these two models here. So we'll definitely need to watch for that as well. Again, we have a lot of time to do so. And if you saw, well, I'm not sure if it was my previous video or the one before that, but I mentioned that the place we want to mainly watch for development at this time of year is closer to the Caribbean and also the Gulf. So in this general area, we tend to have a lot of development between October and, of course, November. So we'll definitely see what eventually happens, especially with the late season tropical waves that head generally west. But it's been very warm in the Caribbean. We haven't had any disturbance or storm or hurricane in our waters that have really tapped into those anomalously warm temperatures. So that is still around, and with other conditions being favorable, if something should really form, then it could be a pretty significant system. But that's pretty much hypothetical at this point because we don't see any solid signs that, hey, we're going to see something developing in the Caribbean. We'll have to wait and see. But the next area to watch is this tropical wave that will be making its way west. And I'll be keeping you guys posted on it as necessary. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. And I do hope you found this update video to be informative. But if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll get to you when I can. And remember to always be weatherwise.